There's a long history of people claiming planets which look Earth-like, Earth 2.0, Earth twins. Some of them have evaporated and have now gone away. I think a famous example was Gliese 581g. That got a lot of people very excited, but of course within I think 2 or 3 weeks, another independent team showed that this planet was not real. And so I think the public has been exposed to many headlines in newspapers and on TV that have claimed Earth twin found, and haven't really kept track with the fact that many of those Earth-like planets didn't stand the test of later scrutiny. And so there is a sense of exhaustion at this point. I think a lot of people probably naively assume that we have a whole bunch of Earth twins at this point, and that's really not the case. Of course, a lot of this really depends on what we really mean by an Earth-like exoplanet. For me, I would have 4 criteria. It would have to be roughly the same mass as the Earth, the same size of the Earth, have a similar temperature to the Earth, and be around a sun-like star. Now, we know of many exoplanets which tick those first 3 boxes, but to tick all 4 is very tricky, and in fact we have 0 exoplanets which tick all of those boxes. Probably the closest planet to it is called Kepler 452b. Unfortunately, soon after it was announced, people contested whether that planet was real or not. So it's sort of in that in-between grey territory where it's not been refuted, but it's not exactly confirmed either. That is probably the closest Earth-like planet I can think of in the catalogue. On top of that, though, we have many exoplanets that tick the other 3 boxes. They are Earth mass, Earth size, and have the right temperature, but they're not around a sun-like star. They're around, most typically, these red dwarf, M-dwarf stars, as astronomers call them. These are planets that are much closer into the star. TRAPPIST-1 is a great example of an exoplanetary system that has multiple planets in the habitable zone of its star, which are all rocky. However, we just don't really know whether these red dwarf stars are sufficient for life to begin around them. Maybe there is something about the radiation that comes off those stars that is so different that it prevents the emergence of life, or perhaps exterminates it after a period of time. So if we want something where we're absolutely assured this satisfies all the criteria that the Earth enjoys, unfortunately we still lack a true Earth twin.